most interesting phone of 2025, in my opinion anyway. It's the Nothing Phone 3. The design is by far the most interesting I've come across. I don't know why there's so much backlash online for the design. We're getting to a point where most phones look the same, and this is at least trying something different. This phone is a perfect example of, for both good and bad, why specs are not everything, in the sense that I don't think any of the compromises Nothing has made is a problem. The phone is really quick, it works really well in all the things I needed to do, including photo, video editing and so on. I really love how much thought has gone into the packaging, the design. I think they did a really good job. A lot of attention to detail, you can tell. The phone on the left and some accessories on the right. So let's start with the accessories first. Like that back, I'm not sure it'll come across in the camera, like on camera, but it's really well done. The attention to detail is really incredible, and I think that's why you get this, is for the attention of detail, the innovation, not because of specs or because of the price, to be honest. The hardware is also very well thought through. The detail that you get throughout the whole phone, not just the back, but the sides and the screen, is really amazing. Apart from the hardware, which is to me a 10 out of 10, I love how the cameras are distributed. I also really have enjoyed using the glyph interface. I'll go into more depth about that. And it's not just the hardware, the software has been really good, and it surprised me how the experience of both the hardware and the software work, because I've been with Apple for like over a decade, and I've tried Android phones before, but never really tried one that made me want to switch completely. I've really loved using the software, the version of Android that Nothing develops. It looks really good, it feels really good, it's fast. Instead of spending this review looking at specs, comparing it to other Android phones, I'm approaching this more from a creator's point of view, from a filmmaking perspective, not from a technical perspective. The version of Android that Nothing makes is much easier for someone who's coming from iOS to adapt to. The best thing about Nothing is their software, especially the applications that they develop themselves. Here's the homepage. When you swipe left, you get the Google app, you get news, and you can set up however you like. To customize your homepage, you press and hold and you go to customize, and in here you can change things like the grid. This is something that I really wish iOS had, because there's a load of wasted space on iOS. And as you can see here, you can choose how many apps per row you want, and you can resize things. You can have a search bar at the bottom, choose what it is, or delete it altogether to make more space. On the iPhone, for example, no matter if you use the 13 mini or if you use the 16 Pro Max, you're still limited to the same amount of apps on the home screen. Then you can change the icons back to what normal Android looks like. I much prefer nothing's pack. It all goes black and white, grayscale. It looks great. And then you can change the wallpaper and the theme, the colors. What I really like about this is that it adapts to the wallpaper that I've chosen, making it purple and white, which is really nice. Then you've got your lock screen. Here you can customize the shortcut that you want. This is how I've set up mine. What I really like is that you can go into quick settings, and in quick settings you can choose a number of different things that you can include on your lock screen. So here's a list of all the things you can add, and this is also something I wish iOS had, which is that you can actually control certain aspects of your phone directly on the lock screen. So as you can see, there's lots of choices, and some apps also offer controls for those apps. Not all of them, but some of them. This is all done through widgets, but I see them as buttons, to be honest. Like on iOS, you can have some widgets on the lock screen, but only 2. And you can't have as many as you can see on mine at the moment. The wallpaper gallery, Nothing's wallpaper gallery, is really great. It comes with lots of really good wallpapers that they provide, but it also allows you to create your own custom ones with AI, which is an option provided by Nothing exclusively. It's not like a stock Android option. I've chosen this purple flower, and I really love how this looks. I think it looks amazing, and it's really functional as well. So I also changed the shortcuts, the 2 shortcuts at the bottom of the screen. I changed it to my Google Wallet on the right and a torch on the left hand side. You can change it to a limited list of things. And you can also change the settings, the home settings. So you can choose to add icons to the home screen or not, double tap to lock, swipe to access Google app, freeze home screen layout, and notifications as well. You also have lock screen options where you can change certain aspects of your lock screen. So as you can see, there's way more. You can customize way more on Android, but also Nothing's version of Android than you can with iOS, and that's been really refreshing for me. So this is how my home screen looks. These are the apps I've chosen to add. The fact that it's black and white or grayscale makes me want to use the phone a lot less, to be honest, compared to even the stock Android. The colors, just not having that extremely colorful home screen has reduced my screen time, which has been really great. The apps developed by Nothing are some of the best I've come across on Android. I'm going to go through all the essential key related apps, starting with the fact that you can open your camera app, press the essential key, and it will take a screenshot of what is in frame and use AI to tell you what is in the frame. But you can also add a voice note telling it exactly what you want. So in this case, I asked it to tell me what is in the picture, and it, as you can see, creates a list of everything that's in frame. This is really useful for things like posters for events or text, where it will give you a summary inside of the essential space. Here's an example of an event that I found on Instagram that I really want to go. I press the essential key. It not only adds to the essential space, which you can access by double pressing the essential key, but it also adds an event to your Google Calendar, which is great. So the essential space is not just for screenshots, it syncs with your Google Calendar. You can create collections, as in almost like folders of exactly what you want to save in them. The next app, which is probably the best design I've ever seen on any app, is the weather app by Nothing. As you can see, it looks similar to other apps, but the design is just incredible, really. And again, the attention to detail is just very impressive. Next is the Nothing X app, which lets you configure all your audio devices. So in this case, the only thing I had connected was the Nothing Ear, the earbuds by Nothing, which are really, really great. And here you can change things like the noise cancellation mode, the strength of the noise cancellation, spatial audio. In terms of bass enhancement, I found that level 1 is optimal. Any more than that and it becomes artificial. There's a really great EQ as well, probably the best I've seen on any audio app. Not just because of the functions, but because of how it's designed as well. It's just so intuitive, informative, that I feel like you don't need to know about sound to get them sounding great in this app. Here there's presets where you can change the equalizer, or you can go to custom and do it yourself. Look how amazing that looks. Then in controls, this is really, really useful. You can change what each gesture does. Not all of them give you complete freedom, but for example, I changed my double pinch and hold to be volume down on the left and volume up on the right. So that solves the problem of not having something like on the AirPods where you can slide your finger to go up and down for the volume. You can also choose your AI assistant of choice here. So you could have ChatGPT, or you could have Nothing's AI, or you could also have Gemini, I believe. This app works with any audio device, but it has more customization for Nothing products. It has some great functions such as low lag mode, which does reduce latency. You can also choose the codec of the audio. You can also connect the earbuds to two devices, and it works really amazing. It works so well with my MacBook Pro, which is not something I thought was going to work. Then you also have the ear tip fit test, which tells you which size of ear tip you should wear. Mine were large, and when you purchase the earbuds, it comes with 3 different sizes. Now for the most confusing setting that I found on this phone, which is the glyph matrix or glyph interface. So it's not very clear how to set this up, how to choose what you want to appear on the glyph matrix. In my case, I find the glyph matrix extremely useful, and I think it has reduced my screen time drastically, which I think is what is really innovative about this screen and button on the back of the phone. But what is a gimmick is the glyph toys. I deleted all of them from my options, and I only included functional options, so the clock, the countdown, as well as the mirror function. You can also change ringtones of all these notifications on the glyph matrix. You can choose from classic to generative if you want to use AI, so that each time is a different one. From the default ringtones, it's the default sounds that Nothing has created. So you can pick from a default sound engine, and then you can also pick from a number of ringtones and notification sounds. This is by far the most complicated setting, which is the essential notifications. This is a great tool, but they should have done a tutorial on how to use it, to be honest. So in here, apart from the things I've just gone through, the glyph toys and functions, this is the most important part because it lets you add just notifications that you want to see, and you can really go in depth about what you want to see in the glyph interface. So in my case, I've only done it for emails, messages, just the key things I want to know about, calendar notifications. So how it works is that you add a rule, and then within that rule you choose what applications you want to be included. You then choose an icon. So this one, for example, was for emails. I chose the nothing envelope icon, but you can also create your own icons where you can upload a picture and the software will turn into a pixelated icon. So in this rule for emails, I went ahead and named it. Then I selected the apps that I wanted to be included in that rule and chose the icon, and that was it. So now that every time I get an email, there'll be an envelope icon in the glyph interface on the back of the phone. Messages, I use Blip, so I included Blip. So yeah, this is really important because if you set it up right and you have just the things you want to know about come on the back of the phone, it means that you rarely have to actually unlock the phone and potentially get lost in doom scrolling, etc. So yeah, this has been, to me, the most interesting concept and idea on this phone. As well as this really useful function where it acts as a mirror and you can use it to use the main camera on the back of the phone to take pictures. So if you can't be behind the camera, you can use that to frame yourself and take the picture that way. I'm gonna show you the best AirDrop replacement I found. That was one of my biggest considerations when switching from iOS to Android, is if I could find a reliable AirDrop replacement. The app is called Blip, and it works just as well, if not even more reliably than AirDrop. So you need to make sure that it's installed on all your devices. So I've got it, in this case, I've got it installed on my phone as well as my MacBook Pro. So I'm in my gallery app. I'm going to select this screen recording and I'm going to press share. And here you find Blip, the icon there. Select that, and then it's going to show you a list of your connected devices or devices nearby that also have Blip installed. I'm going to select my MacBook Pro As you can see, it pops up on the MacBook Pro, and all I have to do is it's done. I go showing folder, and there is the file. So it's as simple as that. Before making the decision to switch from iOS to Android, I had to really make sure that I could find cross-platform apps that would be just as good as the setup I had on iOS. I'm going to start with the most important one, Beeper, which is an app that allows you to have almost all of your messaging apps and social media into one messaging app, apart from iMessage. This has really changed how I reply to people, how quickly I can reply to people, because instead of having to open many different apps and keep on top of so many different inboxes, I have it all centralized into one place. Next is Google Calendar, which syncs with the Essential Space and works cross-platform. Notion to replace the Notes app on Mac and iOS. This works really well, and there's a way to bring all of your Apple Notes to Notion in batch. You need to export all of your Apple Notes as markdown files, and you can import all of them in one go into Notion. Next, for news, I use Instapaper, and for bookmarks too. This app removes all of the ads from an article or a page, but it also allows you to read articles from links and websites where you need to be a subscriber or you need to pay. The interface allows me to focus a lot better. There's a lot less clutter, and it's just much easier to focus and read. Finally, for the last app, this app has really changed how I work on everything pretty much. It's the browser Arc from the browser company. On mobile, it's still very good, but where it becomes really interesting is on desktop. It allows you to create different workspaces. In each workspace, you can have different bookmarks. It lets you organize all of your online activity in a way that no other browser allows you to. I would highly recommend switching to Arc on all of your devices because it syncs up really nicely and really quickly. What is the usual way of having your tabs at the top? This, you can hide your tabs completely, meaning that the whole screen is filled by the website or page that you want to look at. On the desktop, this will make a much bigger difference, and spending time on Arc is a pleasure rather than, say, on Chrome. I find it quite stressful seeing all the tabs open, all the bookmarks and so on. This music app has really blown me away. It's far better than any of the apps I've used in the past for music, including Spotify, Apple Music, all the other streaming apps. This app, not only is it free, but it beats all of the competitors. It's called Musicolet or Musiclet. I'm not too sure how to pronounce it, but all your sections are at the bottom. So you've got your queue, now playing, folders, albums, profile, tags, playlists, and search. The customization of this app is crazy, and they also have a very, very good EQ that you can customize to how you want it to be. But this is by far the best music app I've ever used. What is really good as well is that it lets you play offline. So you just upload your music files to your phone, organize them through this app, and listen to it whenever you like. There is a way to transfer your music files from a Mac to your Android phone. There's a fair few apps, the most that you can download. But yeah, I highly recommend this one. I tried a few apps on Android, but this one is by far the best one. It also gives you the option to have widgets on your homepage, and not only on your homepage, but also on your lock screen. And these widgets work so well, and they also include the album art as the background. So I'm going to open the app and show you how it works. And what I mean by specs are not everything is that it has three lenses on the back and one on the front. They're all 50 megapixels, which is really impressive that they managed to cram all of this into this device. But so I'll run through the lenses before I go into it. So this is the main lens. This is the wide, and this is the telephoto, which is a 3x. So when you use the camera app, it will show up as 1x, 0.5x, 3x, and on the front you have a 50 megapixel selfie camera, basically front camera, which is really impressive. But whilst this phone can take great, amazing pictures, actually, I was really impressed by the quality, not just of the lenses, but of the post-processing as well. It lets you down in video. Like, there's so many problems with the video in this phone, to the point where, as a filmmaker, I've had to basically not use it. So the main issues with it are exposure. Like I'm constantly having to turn down the exposure when I just want to point and shoot, and the stabilization is really poor. Like, it jitters a lot, and the movement of the stabilization is very robotic. Flickering, which is a massive problem on this phone. In a lot of places, so just shops or nightclubs or concerts, you get a lot of flickering. When you use the 3x even, which is meant to be optical, it does not look good. So the main camera looks good, but actually in video, the super wide is actually the most usable out of the three, which doesn't really make sense. I think this is a post-processing problem, and I think it will take a long time for a new company to catch up, because even the cameras on my iPhone 13, which is now 3-4 years old, take better video, and it's not necessarily big. The lenses are worse, way worse than these ones, but the post-processing is just so much better, and because of that, the videos out of a much lesser camera and lens look way better. As much as I love this phone, it's been a deal breaker for me, especially as a filmmaker. So, because I want a device that I can take with me and use it to film B-roll for videos and other things that I work on. So that's the main downfall. I don't think it's what most people are talking about, which is specs, the chip. Instead of it being the 8 Elite, Snapdragon 8 Elite, instead it's Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 chip. But none of that really matters if things like the post-processing of photos, videos, and so on don't work. So especially because my biggest problem with this is that nothing is marketing this phone as a phone for creators, and if you're going to do that, you need to, the camera becomes almost the most important part of the phone. So which is a shame, because the rest of the software is really, really good. Another big problem with the video is the microphone on this phone. I took this device to concerts, more loud environments, to test it. And when you get lower frequencies that are really loud, it distorts the audio. So if you use iPhones from even 5 years ago, they don't have that problem. And that's really problematic with this phone, because it means that you can't really use it in a loud environment. Another problem with the camera is that when you switch from the main lens to the telephoto lens, so in the camera app it will be from 1x to 3x, there's a huge shift in color, white balance, and how it looks, to the point where it's unusable, because you would have to, especially if you're planning to color grade afterwards and use it for, you know, something bigger, you would have to color grade each part of the video differently, and that just adds a load of time and workload, which is really unnecessary. I wanted to do a video with the front camera as well to see what it looks like. This is with good lighting, and I'll compare it to the main camera. The main camera, as you can see, when the lighting is good, now I'm facing the window, looks really good, but where it doesn't look good is when the lighting isn't ideal, like now. And sound-wise, although it has, this phone has that problem with the microphone when you're recording videos, it's really well done in terms of the placement of the speakers, like to the point where I haven't seen another phone that does this. So basically, you've got one speaker at the bottom, and then you've got another one on the top, meaning that the stereo, like a dedicated speaker, because I know other phones we use this part as another speaker, but the difference that this makes is huge, because you get a true stereo image of the sound, and I would go as far as to say that this is the best sounding phone I've ever had. So really well done on the placement of the speakers, but also the microphones. There's one at the top. There's a microphone on the top, and then there's another microphone down here, and they sound really good. So sound wise, apart from that problem with the video recording, it's great. I have to talk about the price as well, because it's been a really contentious point, and I think it's fair enough, to be honest. As much as I love the phone, as much as I love nothing, I think the first problem I have is, apart from the price itself, is the fact that they've done this really weird and unfair pricing where it's $7.99 in all countries, but £7.99 in the UK, $7.99 $8 in the US and 7.99 euros. So obviously the conversion doesn't work there. You're paying more for the phone in the UK, where the company's based, than you are in America or in Europe. And I think that's just really unfair, not just in terms of pounds, but also the difference between euros and dollars as well. I think the whole flagship conversation has become an issue because of how they marketed it. And I think that's a recurring theme in Nothing products, is how they market it doesn't always reflect what it actually is. So in this case, saying it's a true flagship, I think was a mistake, because they could have just said, this is our first try, our flagship, or our own flagship. And everyone would have probably been okay with that. But because they hyped it so much, it is too expensive for what it is. So I won't do comparisons of prices, because yes, you can get a much better phone for the same price, but I think what you're paying for here is innovation, new ideas, design, which I'm okay with. But when they announced the phone, they had a pre-order offer where you could get the higher spec, which is $8.99 now, for $7.99, which is really good. But also you got with that the Nothing Ear, which is the earbuds from the company, and they've been really, so that offer combined the extra storage and RAM plus the earbuds, which are worth £100. So you're getting really £200 off in a way. It's really good. So that's why I went for it. And the earbuds, I'll also do a review of those. They're really good, way better than I expected. And they work really well with my MacBook Pro as well, like cross-platform. That product is really good value compared to the phone. So $99 for the earbuds is really, really good, whilst $8.99 or $7.99 for the phone, not so much. So I think what has let this phone down are the cameras. I think everything else is really good. I think if I got a good camera, not just hardware wise, but post-processing, the whole workflow, I would be really happy with that price. But software, hardware, it's really good, especially for a company that's 2-3 years old. I think that's really impressive, and they've got a really, if they keep going in that direction, I think they've got every chance of doing really well. But the cameras need to catch up to the rest of the experience, which is really great, but the cameras do let the whole thing down. So yeah, I would recommend it if you want something, if you want to support new ideas, new concepts, and having different options as well. I think do go for it. But if you're looking for the best camera, photos and videos, then I wouldn't recommend it. So it's a trade-off. Like I would really love to have this as my main phone, but the camera means that I can't do that. So yeah, I think with time they will catch up, but I think that's still a year or two away, if not more than that. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on what they release, and I really hope that the next flagship is really good. Having said all that, I think it's really important to support new ideas, new concepts, like not just this phone, but all of Nothing's releases and products, because otherwise, if we don't support brands like this, we end up with what we used to, and there's no incentive for the bigger brands to do anything different. So I think there's a lot of innovation in this phone, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, I think it's by far the most interesting phone of 2025, if not of all the phones I've tried and used. But the cameras let it down, and that's too big a problem for me to make it my main phone. So I really do hope that nothing fixes all of the issues and gives us a log as well.